Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. The NFL is back, and who better to break it down with you than man himself, Shane Williamson, and myself here on the Money Backers. The Money Backers, of course, is powered and brought to you by Go Get 'em Sports, PickCity.com, and SportsData.com. Shane, what is up, dude?
It's been too long. Time to combust everywhere.
It has indeed been too long, dude. Week one's finally here. Thursday night football. We got the Chiefs at home in Arrowhead, taking on the maybe possible North winner of the AFC. NFC, I mean, sorry, NFC.
Probably not. I think something tells me this Lions team's going to be a lot like expectation wise, at least what the Broncos were last season. I'm not saying they're going to finish as bad as the Broncos, but I think the media is already mass overhyping the Detroit Lions. They're everybody's like go-to underdog team right now. I don't see them doing what they did last year, to say the least.
Yeah, I think it's a show. Obviously some regression. Not saying Jared Goff had a great year last year, but he had a decent one. Am I going to bet on him having another one? Probably not. Um, it's just tough because obviously Dan Campbell, great players coach. The guys love him. But is he a winning NFL coach? I just it's hard for me to say yes to that one. So that division's not tough. It's just bad. I hate when people say
It's
it's a tough
open.
division. It's not tough. It's just bad. It's first time it's probably been open like this since Rodgers has been in Green Bay. Now he's gone, but Minnesota's still there. I know they lost some pieces on both sides of the ball. People are worried about Kirk and as he gets older. Um, but I see them struggling too, and it's hard for me to look at a winner here in the NFC North. It's wide open. Anybody in that division can win it, and we'll break that down, of course, in another episode. But let's get into this game right here. Chiefs at home, Week 1, taking on the Lions, of course. Line sits at -6.5. Over under sitting at 54. Kind of a high total for Week 1.
Yeah, offenses usually start off slow in the beginning of the season because they got to get back into the flow. Historically, the home team has had the advantage opening night, winning 3 of the last 5 and 7 of the last 10. And it's Patrick Mahomes on in week 1, who's undefeated in week 1. So I feel like it's hard to imagine the Lions winning this game. It's just a matter of can the Chiefs cover, and I think we all know the answer to that question historically.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I'm putting my money on +6.5 here tonight on that. I can't. It's physically impossible for me to press the place wager button on +6.5. I have this line at -8.5 to Chiefs. Obviously, in Arrowhead, it's Pat Mahomes versus a defense that last year we saw give up a lot of yards, a lot of big plays. Um, they've improved obviously on paper, but it's Week 1 against a guy in Pat Mahomes who carves defenses up week by week. So it's tough for me to put my money on the Lions, but it's also tough for me to put my money on the Chiefs at home. They've had trouble covering at home
Hmm.
um, in the past, so especially these bigger touchdown plus or touchdown like spreads. So I'm gonna stay away from the spread here. I'm gonna look at a total. So for me, the play is either the under full game, or I might look at a Chiefs team total of some sort um, towards the over. In the Arrowhead, Week 1, I expect them to be firing off at all cylinders. But I looked at under here at 54. I think it's a little too high for Week 1 football. I see it as like a 50-point game, 48-point game area. Um,
I had
with
the
the
score
Chiefs
at
controlling the push.
27-20 right now, which is like it's still under, but it's close to the total you're talking about.
Yeah, like you said, it's Week 1. Russ is still on there. We've been through preseason, but it's not the same. It's not as fast. It's not emotional like it is for Week 1 in Arrowhead. The young guys in Detroit, maybe they've never been to Arrowhead. Maybe they have. Maybe they have. But Week 1 in Arrowhead, opening day in prime time, I think it smells disaster for Detroit. Um, so I like a team total there. I know you got some props. We can get into that real quick. Um,
Ironically, both my props are for the Detroit Lions because if Chris Jones is not playing, which I mean, there's talks about the contract coming up or the extension being made, but Chris Jones is not afraid to hold out right now, as he's shown already. David Montgomery's rushing yards is only at 47.5, and the Lions love to run the ball. Uh, if you care about fantasy, the Lions backfield had the most fantasy points out of any backfield in the NFL, thanks to Jamal Williams, 17 touchdowns last year. David Montgomery just a better Jamal Williams. I'm not saying he's going to rush for 17 touchdowns this year, but 47.5 on a run first team, I that seems too low. I know they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, but Jahmyr Gibbs isn't going to be running the ball 10, 12, 13 times a game. He's going to be playing that Swift role, so David Montgomery is going to be the lead runner in that backfield. And I think they're going to look to lean on the run early from the veteran.
I can see that, especially early. Again, we talk about Week 1 like it's important. It's a huge step from preseason or to practice to now on the field in Week 1. Um, so I get it. I like that. I see 60 to 70 maybe. Depending on how we go here with this early score. The only problem with the prop is, if they get down, 17, 18 points in the first half, they're going to come out throwing in second. So I hope he gets his yards early. But yeah, that seems kind of low for a back who's gonna get the ball, 10, 15 times a game. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, next one.
Going to the other man in the backfield, Jameer Gibbs, his longest receptions at 12.5. Dude was just known for catching passes at Alabama. I'm pretty sure he led Alabama in receptions last year. They drafted this guy in the top 15 for a reason. They're going to use him, and they've talked about using him as a receiver a lot. So I think we're going to see a lot of stuff at the backfield, a lot of screen passes. He might even line up in the slot sometimes. And with the explosiveness he has after the catch, I think 12.5, they're going to look to get him involved early and often. I think 12.5 can be easily eclipsed on just a simple screen pass at this point.
We got the 12 and a half in the receiving yards, not obviously.
The longest reception is 12.5.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna look to if he gets the ball and there's a tiny bit of open space, he's gonna be cranking yards. I think
see
that's
that.
a little too low.
Obviously a main focal point in that Bama offense last year out of the backfield that you said, catching balls. Him being a third down back probably helps in this situation too. If it's third and long and he's a safety net out of the backfield, he's definitely a good option there to get 12, 13 yards easy on a catch. So like that. Any big fantasy implications for you this week?
Don't start any Kansas City Chiefs receiver because nobody knows what this rotation is going to be like. There's Tony can't stay healthy to save his life. Rashee Rice is a rookie. I don't know how often they're going to get him involved. They're talking about using him as like a gadget type play to start. Sky Moore is supposed to be the slot receiver, but I just feel like we're just going to see a huge rotation from this Chiefs receiving core. So I would just stay away. Obviously, Amon-Ra and Travis Kelce are playing, and Mahomes are playing. If you're in a 2-quarterback league like we just started, you're starting Jared Goff. Most likely because he's a top 20 quarterback at this point, even going against the Chiefs. The running back situation gets tricky. I mean, Jameer Gibbs you're probably starting, especially in PPR, because he's going to live and die off the receptions. David Montgomery, I mean, I think he's going to have a decent ground game, but it really just matters. I'm trying to predict when he's going to get in the end zone or not.
Yeah.
And without Chris Jones there, it seems more likely than not that they would try to bull rush him into the end zone. Montgomery's probably a flex play. If he's starting at one of your two main running back spots, I would be a little concerned. But if you're playing in the flex,
that's probably for the whole season too. If you have Montgomery as one of your starting two running backs, it's probably a mean for concern just because of the potential of Gibbs back there too. So
yeah, if it's PPR, you're starting Gibbs on a weekly basis for now, unless he turns into DeAndre Swift and is out half the year and doesn't do anything every other game. But they invested top 12 draft capital in him, so I'm assuming they're planning on using him a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely the number 2 option, probably in the receiving game behind Amon-Ra. They drafted Sam Laporta, but they never used tight end anyways. And then Jameson Williams out the first 6 weeks. So Jameer Gibbs is probably going to see a heavy dosage early in the season.
I 100% agree, dude. But yeah, especially with the wide receiver 2 basically out. Marvin Jones, he is gone, correct?
No, he just came back.
Oh, he got back. He just came back. One of the two happened. I couldn't remember which one. So is he the wide receiver 2 in this team right now?
For now, he's the wide receiver 2. But then when Williams comes back, he'll be on the outside. And then, I mean, if they run 3 wide receiver sets, I still think Jones is going to be on the field. Do I think he's going to be relevant? Not really. He'll probably have a game or two where he scores 70-something yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
But
typical Marvin Jones season.
you're not looking to pick him up or start him like anywhere.
Yep. All right, that is going to be it for Week 1 NFL football. Chiefs, Lions. Like I said, I can't lay or take the points in either of these teams right now. Too many points for Week 1. Too many points for the Chiefs to cover at home. I know it's weird to say, but it just is. We'll be back Sunday to break down the whole Week 1 NFL slate with you at 11 a.m. Eastern Time back here on Twitter and YouTube at the Pick City YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys coming out and listening to us. We'll be back every Sunday for NFL weeks at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll see you then.